If you are watching this video, you are probably curious about the Healing the Healer retreat program that I'm doing for therapists this June 2020, 2 days, and then also December 2020. And it is a program you sign up for both. It's a package. And then, of course, in between those two retreats, we'll be doing monthly virtual work together. And this is really for therapists that are stuck in compassion fatigue and are really struggling with burnout and are wanting to reach out for help to recover from burnout and to heal from compassion fatigue. And those two things, burnout and compassion fatigue, they just go hand in hand if you're a helping professional. And if you're a therapist, I'd say probably 95% of the time that I talk with folks that are struggling with burnout, compassion fatigue is a significant piece of the picture as well. And it's not something that, well, at least burnout is not something that you can recover from necessarily quickly or easily. It takes time. 6 to 24 months would probably be a good estimate if you've been struggling with burnout for a while, or if you have hit the wall and have really burned out. It takes an investment of time and energy and really being able to change your life in order to recover from burnout. Compassion fatigue, it can be that way, especially if you've been injured over and over again. And at least with compassion fatigue, oftentimes the goal is to be able to help you heal, but then also set up structures and understand better how can I continue to heal in the future when I do feel injured from client's trauma or from the system that I'm in. If there's some moral injury, some value differences between myself and the organization that I'm working for, or all those other types of occupational hazards that you face as a therapist. And there are a lot. I'll quickly say too, you've probably noticed we're being joined today by my 6-week daughter. She's 6 weeks today. And that's because mommy is back at work. So she gets to grace us with our presence. She's sleeping nicely, which has a good feel for talking about burnout recovery and compassion fatigue. This program, it's really for people that are wanting to take things seriously, really roll up your sleeves and work hard to recover from burnout. And as I was mentioning, with it taking a long time, it's not dissimilar to getting out of debt, where if you're in debt, it takes a lot of investment of time and energy and, of course, money, and really changing your life in order to be able to get back to a zero balance, so to speak. But we're not wanting things to stop there. We're wanting you to metaphorically get rich, where with burnout and with your compassion, your empathy, you have a wealth of reserves. And on a day-to-day basis, more often than not, you have an abundance of energy and compassion and the ability to really invest in the work that you want to invest in and get back to a place where you have that passion, that meaning in your work, which I'm sure you've had before you really burned out or got tangled up in the repetitive compassion fatigue. And so that's why we couldn't, in good faith, just have a 2-day or 1-part retreat. We really needed the 6 months to give you some good traction to help you actually get out of burnout and then to be on your way towards flourishing. And so to give you a little bit of understanding of what the 2 days will be like, and both 2 days will actually be quite similar, except that we'll be in different places, being 6 months apart. And the first part is what we might call assessment work, where we're really wanting to hear your burnout story and to see all of the things that led up to this point in your life. And of course, we're interested in all those individual things, your mindset, your maybe perfectionism, any of the beliefs or values that you have, your way of moving through the world. And so that's really important to understand you as a person. And at the same time, we're wanting to understand the system that you're in, your context, your work environment, your relationships with maybe family or friends, and understand all those things that are maybe outside of your control that are impacting your burnout and your compassion fatigue. And oftentimes when I work with folks, they can slide towards well, I'm the problem. Me as an individual, I'm just not good enough. I need to meditate more, or if I'm struggling from compassion fatigue, or if I'm burning out, it's just because I'm not resilient enough. And that's not the case. And so in this retreat program, you'll get to have the corrective experience over and over again of recognizing that's not true. Yes, you're suffering, but it's not your fault. Most therapists struggle with burnout and compassion fatigue and other types of injuries. Some people slide to the other end of just blaming the world and taking on that victim mentality and sensing I'm powerless, and so I can't change this. So I'm just stuck in this forever. And that's not true either. And so in this retreat, we're going to help you practice being able to step in and take ownership of the things that you can change and feel the empowerment to maybe have that conversation with a boss, or to change the work that you're doing, or move, into more of a part-time role, or talk with your spouse at home and change the way that you do things. Hello, you're awake now. And that assessment work, I think, is really fun, really empowering. That'll bring a lot of energy in life, and a lot of healing happens through that work of being able to share your story with people that can witness it and really get it. And that's one of the reasons why this is for therapists, because we can really understand what it's like for each other. And I think that work in and of itself pays for the retreat. I think that investment is really, really valuable. But that's the first maybe third of the retreat. The last third of the retreat is planning for the next 6 months and the future, and helping you create a realistic plan to make the changes in your life that you need to make. And then for us to be able to be appropriately supporting you and checking up throughout the months in between the retreats. And then, of course, after the retreats, there's no reason why you as a cohort or a sub-part of the cohort couldn't continue on and keep meeting and keep doing this work together. And that planning part is fun too. There's a lot of life, a lot of energy that comes to that. And then we'll get to readjust that plan the second time that we meet in December and hear how the plan went and what changes you were able to make and what recovery you were able to do and what places you got stuck in and are still needing more help, more support. And I will quickly say too that on this retreat, you're not going to receive a lot of advice. I don't have any secrets or any, of course, magical bullets, or I can't think of the right phrase, but I'm probably not going to be offering you anything in terms of knowledge that you might not already know. We will offer advice a little bit. There's nothing better than getting some good advice when you're needing it and saying, oh my goodness, I really had never thought of that. And oh yes, that's a great idea. I should do that. So there's definitely room for advice, but that will be a small portion of what we do together. Most of the work that we'll do together is really having compassion for each other, really listening, asking curiosity questions, showing a lot of empathy, a lot of that mindful self-compassion and other oriented compassion. And doing that will help you be able to understand the changes that you're needing to make. And so now I'll talk about this third piece. So the first part is assessment. The last piece is planning. This third part is probably what people find the most fun, the most meaningful. And that's really focusing on our here and now experience together. So the first part is everything that led us up to the retreat. The planning part is really having fun looking at the future. But this here and now piece seems to be incredibly meaningful, where we look at our sitting together with each other. What are the things that we need to do in this moment to help ourselves heal and to help ourselves recover from burnout? What am I needing from the group? Am I needing more compassion? I haven't gotten enough yet. Am I needing more understanding? Am I needing some challenge? Or whatever it might be. And for a lot of people, a good chunk of what you're needing is to really be seen, really be witnessed and held appropriately by the group. And my background is in group, and I've done a lot of this work with therapists individually that are wanting to recover from burnout and heal from compassion fatigue. It's wonderful. You can do a lot of work individually, but there's something about a group that's just powerful, and it kind of blows the top off of what people can do and the changes, the transformative work that people can experience. And so that's what you're really paying for with this retreat. You're investing in a relationship with me, but also with your cohort mates. It'll really be able to get you and understand you and figure out how to support you in a way that helps you actually make the changes that you want to make. And I can't remember if I said this, but 7 people I think would be ideal. 8 would definitely work. 9 is workable, but I would draw the line at 9. So we can't really have more people than 9, because then we start to lose that small group, the power of that small group. And then anything below 6, I don't think is the best either. So 6 to 7 other folks would probably be what we would allow in this retreat. I'll quickly share too. So I chose Northfield because it's my hometown. There's a lot of meaning, I think, that we'll be able to extract from the statue that I mentioned online, and being able to at least understand a piece. I'll share enough of my journey with burnout recovery and compassion fatigue healing that would be helpful for the group. And so there's something I think really meaningful about having this first part here in Northfield. And we'll work, throughout the day in a small group experiential learning, but then also some self-reflection, individual time, and then adequate breaks. You'll have 90 minutes for lunch each day. And then we'll be done at the end of each day for you to be able to go and do what you need to do, what you want to do. And I highly encourage you to take time on either or both ends of the retreat to do what you need to do, to maybe take a week or a month or a day or two on either end of the retreat to take bubble baths, to read, to nap, to exercise, to journal, to call up old friends and reconnect, or whatever it might be that would be helpful to you. And then I chose the Dominican Republic because I've spent a lot of time there, and I've had a lot of corrective emotional experiences working there and interacting with Dominicans and the culture that they tend to have around work and around life, which there's a number of contrasts between my culture growing up and what could be a stereotypical U.S. culture. And so I'm excited to share a number of stories in the Dominican Republic and hopefully have you come face to face more with a contrasting mentality towards work and towards life that can be very, very helpful. It's very healing for me. So that's why one of the main reasons. And another reason is it's the Caribbean and the beaches are gorgeous, and it's a fun place to have our kind of reunion retreat the second time around and be able to really get excited to hear how things have gone for people and to celebrate the successes that we've had. So today is March 4th, 2020. And so we're just at the beginning of the coronavirus here in the US. And so that's something that's very much on my mind, and how that could impact travel. And so for sure we will be doing the Northfield piece, and for sure we will be doing a second piece. But I'm definitely open to changing it if the DR seems like it wouldn't be a good fit for travel logistics or things like that. So we could even come back to Minnesota if we want the winter retreat, or we could find another place in the U.S. And so that's flexible on that end. We will be doing the 2 parts together, but we might find a better place for the December portion if it seems necessary. So we're at about 14 minutes. Hopefully that gave you enough of an understanding of what I'm like, at least on video, and enough to say like, yeah, I think I want to move forward, and yeah, I want to sign up. I'm ready for that, or I have some more questions for Nate. And so the best next step is to fill out the application form that's on the website at grouptherapycentral.com. And it's a very simple, very brief application form. But what that does is it gives me your contact information, gives me a little bit of a sense for your burnout story, where you're at and what you're wanting, what really appeals to you about this retreat program. And then we'll be able to connect and have a conversation, probably a video conversation or phone conversation, to help you figure out, yep, I want to sign up. I want to jump on that plane or that bus. Or no, I'm wanting to explore it more, and so I'll be as best of help I can be to you and help you figure out if this is a good program for you, or if there might be some other options that would be better fits for you. So you can head on over to grouptherapycentral.com to fill out that application, and that would be the next step in moving forward towards becoming part of this cohort that's going to do this journey together of burnout recovery and healing from compassion fatigue. Thanks so much for your time, and wish you the best of luck with your recovery and healing. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Well, that was a pretty good take. Should we keep that take? No? Yeah? Yeah, let's keep that one. That was a pretty good one.